Alright, today I'm in the Lake District for a solo wild camp. It's been a pretty tough hike already and the weather forecast's against us, but we're going to make the most of it. It's really good to be back out again. And I don't know what's going to happen or where we're going to end up, but come rain or shine, I'm going to spend the night in a tent. She's cacked it or what, but I think he's in for an uncomfortable night. Yeah, granted I am out of shape, but this has been a tough hike with this backpack. I always carry my own water because I don't trust water filters. I can imagine the first time I used a water filter, something would go wrong and I'd end up with like horrendous diarrhea in the middle of nowhere. So I've got like 2 litres of water, so that's 2 kg. I've got the Hilleberg Solo, that's like 2 kg. I've got like 4 beers, but for me, I'd rather struggle like this on the way up, and then when I get to the top, I've got everything I need for a comfortable night. It's been a long time since I pushed myself on a wild camp, and there's no bailing this time. I've got to admit, I am enjoying myself, despite the weather. I have no views whatsoever, but I'm going to have fun, and that's all that matters. As always, I'm not going to say where I am, but some of you will know. Some of you will know already without me saying. A lot of you might recognise that. If you know, you know. Never been to this spot before, so that's an adventure in itself. No matter what the weather, if it bounces it down or blows a gale, I'm staying the night. I'm not bailing again. I came here before a few months ago, and I was filming. I was intending on spending the night and doing a video for you, but it ended up just being a 30-second clip on Instagram because I ended up bailing because of the horrendous wind. But tonight I vowed to just stick it out and actually put the Black Label Solo through its paces for once. It's had an easy ride so far, to be fair. Oh man, I feel like a boil in a bag. It is a shame that it's all foggy because I think we would have had some crazy views from this spot. Never mind. As I say, for me this one is more so about just enjoying myself, getting a bit of me time, and spending a bit of time in tent. Before I set off, I put a post on Instagram saying that I wanted some questions for tent talk tonight, and I said they'd be featured in the video, but unfortunately I've got no signal at the minute, so I can't see whether anyone sent me a message or not. But if I do get signal at any point, I'll I'll try my best to answer any questions that you've sent me. Right, keep climbing up into that. Chilly now with all the sweat under here, so I need to get tent set up and get changed into my nice warm dry clothes. I've got a bit of a chill on. I'm climbing higher and higher into the mountains. Because there's absolutely no views, I'm starting to think I might just look for a spot now. Like anywhere will do. Keep an eye out now for any flat spots and call it home for the night. So I've just sat down here to have a little snack and I thought this looks like a pretty good spot. And then the wind came and blew a bit of the mist away. And I'm literally sat right next to a tent. So there's a tent that way, there's tents that way, so I'm going to head over there I think. But I'm done though, I'm absolutely knackered. Contemplating staying here, but that is really close to another tent, so this would have been a right spot as well, wouldn't it? Right, I'm going to try and get over there. You see, this is the problem with coming on a bank holiday weekend. Everywhere you go is going to be round. Oh shit, I think that we can get round this bit. Let me try. Ah yeah, sod it. Spot around here somewhere because I'm starving. I mean, there's not wrong with being pitching up close to someone, but if I were pitched up and someone pitched right next to me, I'd be a bit annoyed, to be fair. I nearly did it by accident then. I genuinely didn't see that tent there because it was like this. You couldn't see anything, and I sat down there to have my little treat. It's a good job I did, because bloody tent right next to me. Right, this is looking promising up here. In fact, this might be perfect. Yeah. This is me, I think. My God. It is absolutely crawling with tent around here. Every little bridge you go over there's a load of tents. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tents, 5 tents, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then number 11's going there, I think. Or I might actually just style it out on top of this nab. But I'm in full view of them, so yeah. I think I'll go down there. So this is me for the night. Gillerberg solo looking well as always, tight as a drum. Pretty much the same old stuff in here. Sierra Designs Cloud 20 degree sleeping bag quilt hybrid with memory foam pillow. I've got my Acclima top and my leggings in there for tonight, and a woolly hat and hand warmers. Rab Alpine down jacket. My electricals, cigar for later, and the trusty O-Bulb BioLite signed by Ray Mears. Oh, and foil mat and Big Agnes Rapide SL wide insulated sleeping pad. And when the cloud breaks, this is a hell of a spot. Looking out to the mountains that way and over both tarns. Cracking spot. Right, I need to get inside and get warmed up. It's cold, but I need to get these wet clothes off and get some dry stuff on. I'm just going to wait I can't sit in the tent yet because my pants are soaked, and them guys over there directly opposite me can see me, so I'm going to wait for the fog to roll in again and I'll whip my pants off and jump in. Fair play to everyone for getting up here though, because it were a fair old slog. And a lot of people have put the effort in to get here. Right, come on fog. I have got my drone with me today in its high-tech waterproof pouch. aka the sandwich bag. So when I've got into my warm clothes and that, I might get a few drone shots maybe. It's not too windy, so yeah, I might send it up, but if not, I'll do it in the morning for you. Oh, sorry, I'm going to get out of the firm if I wait for this call. This sort of thing before, and you've no idea how good it feels to get out of the wind and rain, get your wet, freezing cold clothes off, and get some nice warm dry stuff on, and get in your little den for night. It's such a good feeling. It proper reminds me of being a kid again. I've said it before as well, when it comes to base layers, merino wool is very expensive, but it is a lot better than synthetic stuff. Like I've only had 2 sort of sets of thermals. One set was like from Mountain Warehouse, you know, them really cheap ones, like a top and leggings for like 30-40 quid, something like that. And then these Acclima ones, they do make a massive difference, but they're like 3 times the price. So I'll put them on your Christmas list now. Oh, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I know I haven't put out for ages, so if you have tuned in, thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing. I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers now, so that'd be nice if I can get 1,000 after this video. Don't really know what to do with myself now. I'm not really hungry enough to put my tea on. I don't know whether to send drone up or not because it's so misty and wet. I don't know. I might just chill out for a bit. I'm halfway through Breaking Bad for like I think it's the 3rd time I've watched it all the way through. So I've got a couple of episodes of that downloaded, so I might watch some of that. And I've got plenty of audio books and podcasts and that to listen to, so I might just make the most of being in a tent, chill out. Also, if anyone out there makes their own music and that, I'm really struggling, as you can probably tell from this video, for copyright free music, and it's always a challenge to find like half decent tracks that I can use without getting like copyright infringements and that. So if you create your own music, I'd be really grateful if I could use some in my videos, and obviously I'll give you a shout out and stuff. So yeah, reach out to me. Also, I mentioned that I asked for some questions on Instagram, which I'm gonna do later on tonight. Like, instead of just watching me boil some water and eat some noodles, I thought I'd do like a proper Q&A from my followers on Instagram. But I've got no signal, so I can't even check Instagram to see if anyone's commented. If you have left a comment or asked me a question, I'll get back to you possibly in the next one or later in this video if I can actually find signal. Anyway, for the time being, I'm just going to sit here with this big grin on my face and just enjoy it. God, I can't even hold camera still because I'm shivering that much. You can never bring too many layers on a camp. Right, I've got high hopes for this beer because it looks like it's going to be like a twister lolly, which, if you follow my videos for a while, once I found my all-time favourite like craft ale, and it was by a company called Pressure Drop, and it was called Eternal Sunshine, and it tasted just like twister lollies. So I'm hoping that Northern Monk's done me proud with this new one. I'm hoping it tastes like twister lollies, so here we go. I can smell like lime and that. It smells quite like fruity. Well, it doesn't taste like twister lollies. It kind of tastes like lemonade. Yeah, like lemonade with like soda water in it. So not a fan of that. I'll drink it though. 4.7. Got 2 of them and 2 Copperberg strawberry ones, so that should be enough for tonight. My poor girlfriend's going to be going out of her mind because I've got no signal, like I said, and it's horrible when you don't have signal because my girlfriend worries, rightly so, when I come and do stuff like this, and it's an awful feeling for me not being able to tell her that I'm alright because I know that she'll be sat at home worrying. So I'm sorry, there's not what I can do. For that reason, I've thought loads of times about getting like a Garmin InReach or something, but I didn't realise that you have to pay like 300 quid for the actual thing, and then you have to pay like a subscription fee on top of that, which I think one of them where you got like 3 texts a month or something was like 30 quid a month. And like with all the like subscriptions that I pay, like Audible, Spotify, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Canva, which I pay like £8 a month just to make thumbnails for this, which hardly anyone watches, and like all it is like a little bit of editing software. So I just can't justify another subscription, even though it's like it'd be so good to be able to just message her now and tell her that I'm alright, and obviously if something were to go really wrong and that, there's that security, but I just can't afford it. I don't know about you lot. I do see a lot of people like Paul Messner and stuff like that. I've always got them clipped to them, but I don't know. I just can't justify it at the minute. But if the time comes that I ever need in like an emergency or something, I'll probably think, why didn't you just pay that 30 quid a month?
There were also family and friends to see. Mum, dad, siblings, old military pals, visits and nights out. I need the pilgrimage to Scotland at least twice a year to recharge my batteries. Not only are my family there, but it's in my blood, and the mountains are my home. Plus I had to fit in training and quality hoovering time. Trying to sustain a personal life with all that going on is extremely difficult, and you lose a lot of friends along the way. Even when you do catch up with people, you don't want to be that pub bore who's constantly banging on about his latest exploits. So, you don't tell them what it's like to abseil down Angel Falls, or be inside an erupting volcano, or almost drown in the middle of the Atlantic. Become streamlined so that I now have a set of what you might call thick and thin friends. The best thing about 12 Virunga National Park rangers, including some I had worked with, evil wind. If you breathe it in, it sinks to the bottom of your lungs and can asphyxiate you. One place we know should be avoided are carbon dioxide sinkholes. So we filmed a goat being walked into one to show the locals just how dangerous those things are, acting strangely the year before. He got that right. This time, there were 4 of us rigging. Me, Struan, Grant Thorns, and my old Marines mate Daz, including Benoit, back down with me this time.
back to bed. Morning. It's about 7 o'clock, and as you can see, not much has changed this morning. We're still completely clagged in by the cloud. So I reckon it's time to pack up and get off. I'm gonna have to just imagine the views today. Right, I'm all packed up and I managed to find a bit of signal, so I'm going to answer some of your questions for you on my way back down. So first question from Blondie_hiker_Joe. Thanks for your question, mate. She asked, favourite tent, the one that just works right for you? I think for me, it's got to be the Hilleberg Solo Black Label. I've never once fully put it through its paces because it can stand up to all sorts of crazy weather, but I always hunt for a sheltered spot. But just the pure peace of mind of knowing that wherever I put that tent, if the weather changes, I'm going to be safe and sound in there. There's plenty of room in there for me on my own. I can just about finish a beer in it. If you've never managed to put your hands on a Hilleberg tent, the level of quality is just unreal. And yeah, just purely for the fact that I trust it so much. It's never let me down. I've been using it for about, I think it's nearly 3 years now. I never bothered doing a full review of it on my channel because there's just thousands of them out there. Every man and his dog's got a Hilleberg, so there's no point. And a lot of people have done it a hell of a lot better than I could, so I thought I'd leave it there. So yeah, thanks for your question, Joe. What's your favourite tent? Next question from on_your_hike. Cheers, mate. You asked top 3 places. It's a tough one because I don't usually tend to tell people where I go, but if I'm a bit vague and just say a general area, I suppose that's not giving too much away. So my top 3 places of all time, the top #1 spot has got to be Scotland, probably Glencoe. It's just absolutely insane around there. If you've watched my 3-part series, A Week in Scotland, you'll have seen some of the absolutely unbelievable scenery and mountains and stuff that I saw when I was there. It was just unreal. And those camps, I think every camp I did in that trip has got to be my favourite camps of all time. Some of the places I went to in the Isle of Skye were just unreal, pitches right on the coast. And then I had a night at Loch Ness. I had the whole loch to myself on a beach at the very far end of it, just looking down the stretch of the entire loch. No one around for miles. Again, beautiful weather for Scotland, quite warm. Set up my little spot near chair, right up against the water, and listened to an audiobook about the Loch Ness Monster that I used to be obsessed with when I was a kid. So yeah, that were a dream come true. #2 spot I'd say it's probably Eskdale in the Lake District. I've done quite a few camps in that area, and there's some absolutely unbelievable wild swimming spots. I've only ever done one of them so far, but I'm definitely going to head back there in summer. My third favourite place, I'd probably say Northumberland, just because of all the happy memories that are attached to that from going there with my family as a kid. I've always loved Northumberland, and the beaches are ace, and Bamburgh Castle's pretty spectacular. Thanks for your question. What are your top 3 places? Next question's from Martin Hornsey. Alright mate, how you doing? I haven't seen you for a while. Probably because I keep bailing every time you ask me to go on a camp with you. But we'll do another one soon. Martin asks, have you ever taken that hat off? I have mate, but usually it's only in the shower or the cover of darkness. Thanks for your question mate, hopefully see you soon. Next question's from JT out_doors, and he asks, have I got any plans for any multi-day long distance hikes? The short answer mate is no, to be honest, but I have been thinking about it for years and years. Like when I first started this wild camping business, I intended on doing multi-day hikes, and I wanted to do like the Coast to Coast and Great Glen Way and all that lot, and up to now I've not done any of them. And I think the longest sort of camping trip I've ever done was only a week, when I did that week in Scotland. That's the longest I've sort of been out in the wild for, on consecutive days. And I can imagine managing your gear and your wet and dry kit. I can imagine that would be quite a challenge actually, because I struggled just doing a week and I had my car. Me and my mate Scott have been talking, or we were talking a bit back, about starting and doing the Dales Way. Possibly getting the train to Kendal, I think it starts, and then you can walk all the way back to Ilkley, near where I live. So I might do that. My absolute dream multi-day hike would be the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail. It goes all the way from, I think it's Nevada to Canada. But anyway mate, to answer your question, as of yet there's nothing in the pipeline, but we'll see what the future brings. Thanks for your question. What about you mate? Have you done any multi-day hikes or got any planned? Let me know. Next question from camped_out_on_Dartmoor. He asks, a millionaire offers you £1 million to never do anything remotely like wild camping ever again, what would you do? I'd take the million mate. That's a quick answer, but I'd definitely take the million. I'm sure I'd find other things that would make me happy if I had £1 million. Thanks for your question. What about you? Would you take the money or the tent? Next question, and I'm sorry mate, I can't pronounce your name. Midori Habi. He asks, how do you prefer your steaks, still mooing or burnt to a crisp? I always used to get my steaks well done, and all my mates would like give me shit for it. So I have evolved and grown up a little bit, and now I tend to get them medium. I can't do with like blue steaks and that, and cutting into it and all blood coming out. Ugh. What about you? How do you like yours? And the last question from Adventures with JB. He asks, what am I currently watching or reading when I'm out wild camping? I tend to listen to quite a lot of audiobooks. Recently I've finished Matthew Perry's autobiography called Friends, Lovers and the Big Terrible Thing. Listened to that recently. I recently listened to Windswept and Interesting Billy Connolly's autobiography. He's a fellow welder, so respect. I've always liked Billy Connolly, and so has my dad. And on this particular wild camp I was listening to Lessons from the Edge by Aldo Kane. That's quite a good audiobook. And watching wise, for this one I downloaded a couple of episodes of Breaking Bad, which I said yesterday, but you might not have heard me for the wind. I'm halfway through Breaking Bad on the 3rd time through it. I've watched it all the way through 3 times, so yeah, I was just watching that. What about you, mate? What have you been listening to or watching? Right, everyone, thanks for all your questions. Sorry I didn't manage to answer them in the tent, but this is probably a little bit more entertaining than that. Anyway, despite the views, I have enjoyed this one. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. If you have, please consider subscribing. It'd really help me out. I'm still wanting the channel to grow, but I just can't put frequent uploads up because I just don't have the time at the minute anyway. Give it a like, leave us a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Just wanted to say before I go, I love this bit, V. Like when you're coming down and everyone else is heading up there. Like, oh, have you been to the top? Like, oh yeah, I stayed up there last night. Like, oh, did you? Did you? Were it a good night? I'm such a show off. I love walking past them with massive backpack and that, and they're like, oh, look at him, he knows where he's going. About 3 people have asked me for directions today. Which the ironic thing is, I hardly ever know where I'm going. Right guys, see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Ithe wanjĩraga tũthiĩ ũhiki-inĩ ũkĩmenyaga atĩ nĩ ũgũcoka ũndige na ũthiĩ ũkamũgĩre. Muoka nake ũhiki-inĩ wonanagia mũtirĩ nake na ndehũgũrana kũngĩ ũkamunĩra ritho. Ndathiĩ kahinda ngĩũka ndakorire agũikarĩire ngĩigua ta ndatemwo na rwenji ngĩrora na kũngĩ. Wendaga kũraga ndutura igĩrĩ na ihiga rĩmwe ũriganĩirwo atĩ mũcemia kũrire mũkungi.